everybody!
Hi everybody, I'm Debbie.
I'm Sherry,
and we're
switching seasons.
Woo!
Yay! What are we talking about today?
We are going to talk about taste, and a lot of people don't think that taste is a sense that is used in design, but it is, isn't it?
It is. It's used all around us and things we don't even notice most of the time. It's very subliminal, and we're going to talk about that first and then talk about the obvious, the food that you can serve at your home or your events when people come over.
Exactly. But the sense of taste is, again, one of our basic senses. I mean, it's the one thing we have. Obviously, we have to eat, right?
We do.
So to have the sense of taste stimulated is a big part of design and for parties, obviously, because you're not going to have an event without food. That would be kind of weird. But I would hate that.
I know.
Go to an
Well,
event where there's nothing to eat.
My job and my profession evolves around events and making people have fun and happy, and food is a huge part of it. The menu is always a big part of it. Is it served on time? Is it hot? Is it ready? Did it taste good? And it just plays a huge part in anything because it's a sense of welcoming, it's a sense of comfort. You decide whether or not you have fun, if you're satisfied with food, so it's very, very important.
Very part of it. So what do we have in our 10-minute toolbox that we would attribute to the sense of taste?
Well, a lot of it has to do with comfort.
Yes.
A lot of it has to do with the look of food and taste around your home. What do you do when you're stressed?
Well, I tend to drink some wine, but I do think, though, that food is very important.
It
a
is
lot of
very
people
important.
do turn to food because it is something for comfort. Not that we have to do that to overeat or anything, but food obviously is something that, think about when a baby, what is a baby's very first thing, why they're crying? They're hungry. So this is, again, not only subliminal, but just very basic to who we are as human beings.
It is. If you're worried, if you're stressed, people tell me, I've been so tired and I tend to just eat. If you think about all the things that you happen in your life and it makes you want to eat, it's because it's a sense of comfort.
Yes.
So when people come to your home, again, like we've been saying over and over again in our first three videos that we know you've watched.
Yes. You better have,
with
actually.
smell and sound and kinesthetics. Everything around that. It's about making people feel welcome and warm and comfortable in your home.
And we want to tickle your senses.
Exactly.
That's why we're here.
So in my home, I like to use a lot of kind of subliminal things in my home that have to do with food. It's always nice to have a bowl of fresh fruit out. Camera girl.
Val, could you focus in on this fruit? I also would like you to notice that this is actually in an apple-shaped bowl. Food can also be suggested by something, and so not only is this bringing in a sense of visual, which we're going to talk about in our next video, but having a bowl of fruit in a pretty fruit-shaped bowl is again a way to stimulate that sense of taste. And how pretty, all that beautiful seasonal fruit that we have out there.
But look at all the fruit I kept over here. But you know what? This is in my 10-minute toolbox.
It's not real.
It's not real. This is fake fruit. Some of it I picked up at the dollar store, some of it I picked up at Walmart, pick it up in different places for very low, and I throw it in my 10-minute toolbox because if my family's eating the fruit, people are coming over and I want to refresh the bowl a little bit. Not very often do people come in and go, oh, what a beautiful fruit bowl, and grab something out of it. I might have to stop them if they do.
But
because
you know,
very
it's so
often,
nice. Look at that. I mean, who would know that that's... You just got to be careful that somebody doesn't take it out of them.
exactly, you might need to go grab it from them.
Yeah, I know.
But these things, if you live someplace where you've got the snowy, they don't live in California.
No,
it's
they
kind of
don't,
sad.
but we
I'm
do.
sorry, but
It was 81 degrees today, by the way. It's pretty
but
nice.
what were we talking about? Oh, taste and fruit.
And having fruit, maybe growing outside in your own garden.
Exactly.
Right?
So if you don't, you can have some in your 10-minute toolbox that you can just throw a few pieces in and create something to give the illusion of having fresh fruit in your home. And it just makes it seem like summer. It seems like freshness and goodness.
One thing to remember as we go through all these videos, we're playing on all the senses. So everything we're doing here, obviously this evokes a sense of taste. But it's also visual. It also has some beautiful smells to it. I don't necessarily think sound, but again, remember, all of our senses are being tickled and all of them work together. Very important in design and also in event planning and having parties and things.
Now I've got a never-ending lemon tree in my yard that just says lemons and lemons and lemons.
Forever.
And I get calls all the time with people saying, oh, I'm going to stop by, and do you mind if I stop by? Because I've got my 10-minute toolbox, which helps me get my home ready in a snap. And they just think my home is always ready and it's a good place to go, which is what I love. And so I run out and grab lemons. A great thing to do, gives the smell in my home, and the freshness and the fun of lemons. I just grabbed 4 lemons. I have a tall vase on hand that I keep in my cabinet. Ran out and grabbed some lemons. I sliced them up, threw them in a vase, poured some water in it. You can smell the lemons right now.
It's beautiful. Yes,
smells
you can.
good.
It smells
You've
really
got the
nice.
color, you've got the pop,
like
and then you've
30
got
seconds.
the taste. It's less than a minute.
Perfect, perfect.
We tend to have things like food out, grapes out. You can just throw some, even if you don't plan on serving food, throw some fruit out. It kind of gives that sense of taste and good things. I like to have some of these in the corners and places in my home. I find these at Ross and TJ Maxx and Pier 1, all these places, and just different peppers that have been pickled. I had one of the little girls who was over this weekend asking me, what is that and when are we going to eat it? So, well, I've had this for about 10 years. I don't think we're going to eat it, but that's a whole lot of different peppers.
Really yeah.
And it's great. It gives people that savory sense.
Another thing that it does, and we talked a little bit about this before when we had kinesthetics, something like that, it also stimulates conversation. And that's what's wonderful about having things like that. Not only does it look beautiful, again, brings a sense of food in, but it causes, like little kids or anyone to go, that's just so beautiful, and gives people things to talk about.
Exactly. And we live in the garlic capital. These are pepper-wrapped garlics. And it gets people talking, have you ever tried those? Aren't those good? And it gets them going. I always still tend to keep a cookbook out. This usually sits in one of the corners of my kitchen. And I love it because it's got all the different pictures. Even though I don't use this cookbook that often, just the taste of home, the words suggest it, the pictures, and it just kind of gives that sense that maybe I'm a wonderful cook, and I don't have to be, but
I think you are. And
I'm
you
pretty
don't even have to
tricky.
be. I know, very good. Also, another way to display food, I have all of my different lentils and rices in these neat old canning jars. And again, it's giving that suggestion of food, very usable because I do use this. But again, it has them out, people can look at them, think, oh, how cool, you got all these neat old jars, but yet it has something in it. And again, if I'm in a pinch and I need to use something, it's right there. So, a very good way to utilize our sense of taste.
Another thing showing that the sense of taste brings comfort and smell is a lot of your candles now are cupcake or birthday cake scented, or apple or cinnamon or oranges. And it's because of that sense of taste. It gets your taste buds going, it reminds you of eating and food, and it works well with your sense of smell and your sense of taste.
This is something that probably people don't know, but do you know if your sense of smell, if you didn't have your sense of smell, you couldn't even taste things. I have a friend of mine who actually was in an accident and she lost her sense of smell. She can't taste anything, and how awful would that be?
It's not good.
So even things like having coffee brewing, again, even if you don't like coffee, a lot of us remember as kids, my parents would have coffee all the time, and I would think, oh, it smells so good, it's got to taste good. I didn't like it when I was little. I do now. But again, having things like that, the sense of smell of things like chocolate chip cookies, all that stuff.
If you've got a funky smell going on in your home or something you don't want to smell, pop a bag of microwave popcorn in your microwave. Popcorn, yes, it can take over your whole home, but it smells better than fish.
It smells better. Yes, it does.
It smells really good. Open your windows, pop popcorn, and it'll be wonderful.
And this is stuff you can keep on hand, and it's really good.
Now, we're almost done, and we haven't even talked about things to eat.
What is wrong with us?
We like to keep things on hand all the time. I always keep some snack mixes, peanuts and chocolates and sweet and salty, things that have a long shelf life that you can keep on hand.
Hard candies.
Hard candies. If your kids are always getting into it, keep a bowl on hand. Hide it up in the cabinet, put it down when people say they're coming over and you're ready to go.
Okay,
so
well, we better wrap this up, but
I
we
think
certainly have shown a lot. Obviously, this all revolves around food.
We know you all know about eating. We wanted to tell you more about the look of eating and taste. That's going to help your home and your parties and everything so much.
All right, everybody likes to eat. Go have a chocolate chip cookie. We're going to drink our wine now.
We are.
We are.
Switching Seasons. SwitchingSeasons.com.
See us next time. Bye.
Bye.